107.3 KFFM, Middays with Sarah J. It is the month of Pride. Woo! I've got very special guests in the studio. I've got the secretary of Yakima Pride, Kaimo. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Yes. And the vice president of Yakima Pride, Josh.
Hello, happy Pride.
Happy Pride to you and everybody out there. We're celebrating. We just came off of an event that I would love for you both to kind of explain what happened, how it came into fruition, everything.
Rainbow Prom. Oh my gosh, it was such an amazing event. You know, Rainbow Prom was conceived back in 2017 by Christina Ortega. Really kind of was the forerunner behind the concept of Rainbow Prom. We've been privileged to put it on for our youth here in the Valley. This is our third year running as an official nonprofit 501c3. Super special. It was really awesome to see everyone come out and engage. It was really, really cool.
Yes, it was. Way to go DJing as well.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody volunteered their skills. We had over 70
attendees was the projected amount, but I believe we surpassed that. We are above 100 people that actually attended the event itself.
I love
it was incredible.
Big shout out to Moma Fiesta. She did an absolutely beautiful rainbow balloon.
Huge display.
Right. And the Yakima Valley Museum too. So supportive.
So supportive. Mama Fiesta, the word prom that they put together is like 4.5 foot giant letters. The letter M on there went out before the event began. Took that out to her vehicle, went off and come back with it repaired or replaced to make sure the event went off without a hitch. She's so professional. We love her.
Yes.
We've worked with her several times. So
so if you're looking for somebody to do balloon arches, OMG, you can head over to KFFM.com, KeyW.com to see all of the photos. There are some photos that I'm sure that the community has reached out and been like, we want to see the pictures from Rainbow Prom.
Absolutely.
If you would please kind of fill people in on why they can't seem to find the photos.
Of course. So you may see some photos that we posted on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. And those are primarily of our volunteers, our amazing chaperones.
Me!
And then we have our board of directors. We put those photos out there, but what we wanted to let the community know is that those photos that happened during the prom are for the youth, and to also make sure that that is a safe space for them. So while the LGBTQ youth may be in various, stages of their journey of coming out, we want to make sure that we are always, making sure that that's a safe space for them in our community. And that's what the Rainbow Prom is about. It's about them. It's not about us. And it's not a fishbowl for us to watch the fish swim. So
that is the reason. But you can find some incredible photos over on our website. And I know I didn't prep you about this, but I do know people are asking, adult Rainbow Prom?
Oh my gosh, this has been a question for at least
I put him on the spot.
3 years.
We may or may not venture into that, so stay tuned.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a huge question.
Right? And if you have not friended Yakima Pride on Facebook, what are you waiting for? What else is coming up in the month of June that people really should be aware of?
June 18th is the Yakima Pride Festival and Parade. We did our very first one, I think, as Yakima Pride in 2018. We assisted with that, and then 2019 was a huge success. We saw a double in attendance. Obviously, 2020 and 2021, the pandemic slowed us down, but we're back here in full force, so we're looking for even triple, quadruple of that attendance this year. And we have some really special guests that are going to be joining us for our parade this year. Again, follow our Facebook.
Yes, as they tease you and taunt you.
Yes, so you'll find the details on our Facebook for some huge announcements coming up.
Oh, very cool. And someone will be gifted one of those fantastic crowns.
Absolutely. So if you have noticed on our social media, we have pictures of the Rainbow Prom royalty crown that was bestowed upon one of the youth's heads. We're going to do another one of those, and we can talk about the contest. Is that
Yes,
fun?
yes, please. I want it all.
So our drag performers, our drag artists, we like to call them, did a contest where they asked the youth to submit a little raffle ticket that gave them a number, and that number allowed them to enter a drawing.
Yes.
And so the drag artists picked 3 contestants from there, and they proceeded to have them lip sync for their lives.
Tell them what they had to sing. I'm putting that in quotes.
So they had to lip sync for their lives to I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. It's a quintessential song, I think, in our community. Everyone knows it, but we kind of got thrown for a loop because 2 of the contestants were not so familiar with it. You know, so in those situations, I'm like, I don't know, you might want to get yourself brushed up on some of those top 40 songs.
That's fair. And I will say, the winner, even when went as far as lip syncing the solo of the saxophone, and it was incredible.
Channeling their inner Kenny G. It was great.
It really was. It's time to let loose and have a lot of fun and also do it together with everybody in the community. Are you looking for volunteers for Pride?
Always. We're looking for volunteers for the festival, for the parade.
Okay.
We have some huge plans for the parade. We're also looking for volunteers all year long. In order for us to do an adult rainbow prom, we need help with that.
Right.
We are a small team of 4 board of directors. We have lots of volunteers in the background that help us out. We brought on 2 individuals to help out as like directors at large or social media help. We definitely need help.
So if you're wanting to help and you're thinking, how can I do that? What would be the best way to reach out to you?
So you can either message us directly on Facebook, but our main link will be yakimapride.org/volunteer.
It is the month of Pride. June is the official month. I mean, we want to be celebrating every single day. I brought you both in here because I thought it would be a great opportunity. What are the things that, if you're maybe not so familiar with Pride or comfortable with, I was talking to Kaimo before we started because his name is, people would mispronounce it and stuff. And I know that I've heard a lot of people say, well, I just couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. So it's the same thing with pronouns, correct?
I mean, yeah, I would equate my name to being a part of my identity. So however you identify, whatever it is that you identify, pronouns are definitely something to help respect those who identify a certain way, right? One of the common phrases that I like to use is y'all means you all. So y'all means everybody. That's a good way to generalize a crowd. And then individually too. So just being polite, asking somebody how they identify, that's a really good way to get that point across too.
Okay, and it's not disrespectful to be asking how you identify.
Probably to be affirming and make an inclusive space. I get this question a lot, especially from people that work in corporate buildings or hospitals. And one of those examples is like email, and you want to add in your pronouns in there. And they're like, well, why would I want to add my pronouns? Like, I don't identify as LGBTQ+. And I said, well, this is just affirming and making those that are LGBTQ+ in your office know that you're inclusive.
Okay.
And, and that you are respectful, but also you're not going to just assume their gender, and you're not going to misgender someone. So research pronouns and understand why they exist. And if you work in those professional capacities, see if your office will take on that ability to add your pronouns. When you introduce yourself to someone, especially if you work for a Pride organization, I usually start with my pronouns. My name is Joshua Hastings. My pronouns are he, him.
Okay.
It's very nice to meet you, Sarah Johnson.
Oh, I love that. She, her. Cool. I understand that.
One of the things that I want to say is that visibility and inclusivity and inclusion, it's very important to us. Definitely understanding that wherever you go in this city or whatever it is you do outside the city, understanding that there are businesses out there who are affirming and inclusive as well. And I think bringing visibility to that is a huge step for us to take every single year, and making sure that we're working with businesses who can perpetuate that
inclusivity, creating a welcoming environment.
Yes,
Which everybody should be feeling comfortable.
And it affects people zero. Really.
Exactly.
If anything, you get to know your neighbor, you get to know the people that you're serving in your community. But I think it's a huge reminder that LGBTQ people have always been in Yakima. I was born and raised in Yakima. And so, it wasn't like a bus arrived in Yakima and everybody got off and said, oh, let's move into Yakima. No, we're all youth and, generational amounts of LGBTQ generations, or as you want to word it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I like that. They didn't just get dropped off like the homeless from another place. You just go here.
Yeah, I think that misconception is that they all came from Seattle and they just decided to stop in Yakima. And
yes.
Here we are.
No, they've always been and they always will be. And so it's important to recognize, identify, and make sure that you're being loving and kind.
Yes, absolutely. Again, it affects you zero.
Yeah.
So let's make a positive world that we live in our communities, but also we just got done with the pandemic. Let's give each other a break and let's just have some fun.
Yes.
Let's celebrate all the wins that we've had, that we're still here. Let's also remember all that we lost.
Yes.
During the pandemic. It's huge.
Yes.
It's a huge amount of loss.
Yes.
So I think there's just no room for hate and going down those rabbit holes of let's start loving each other.
Yeah, some real dark stuff. We don't need that business. There's so much magic in our community, and everybody's got these really amazing features to each person. And so we want to be able to make that thrive. Let everybody know it's okay. This is a safe spot for everybody. And I love that you have created a safe spot in Yakima that people can go to. And the space. Did we speak about the space already?
No.
Ooh.
So the space is a LGBTQ youth kind of a drop-in center, but it is managed by Yakima Neighborhood Health. So you would need to check in with Yakima Neighborhood Health in order to gain access to the space. There are some amazing people that work over there, and they have snacks for the kids and games, even go as far as tutors, counselors, things of that nature that are affirming and welcoming. Also offer support, for parents. Even Yakima Pride has resources for parents.
Which is a big thing when you would have your child come to you. They're starting to get into school and they're starting to make their friends and they're trying to figure out who they are, and they approach you and they want to talk about these things, and you want to be open and responding and not shut them down. So are there a couple of good sentences when a child comes to you and they're like, I think I identify maybe is something you hadn't thought of before, but you want to be real supportive?
Important to understand that there's differences between gender identity and sexual orientation. For the youth, they may be struggling with both, also putting it into words for their parents to understand. So it is kind of an evolving journey that a lot of individuals take. They may start out in one area of the spectrum and end up at another, and that's okay. And that's part of, pronouns. I may be he, him today or they, them tomorrow, but it's to be respected. So when it comes down to parents, I think the best advice that I would have for my personal self, from my experience, is just love your child, love them unconditionally. And if you don't understand something, it's not their responsibility to educate you, because they're taking that journey themselves. This is something that I think about, that while the child has their own coming out, parents kind of have their own coming out, coming to terms with that they have an LGBTQ child, but then also they may be coming out to their friends and their family to let them know that they have an LGBTQ child. And that may be difficult. So make sure you seek that support, that professional support system for yourself. Don't make your child your support system. And you'll be very successful because you'll watch them thrive.
Yeah.
And then you'll end up at Yakima Pride having a fantastic time celebrating your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've never been, you have got to go. You would be amazed. There's so many supporters. It was wonderful to see the parents drop their kids off at the Rainbow Prom, and just you can tell they're so proud, and the little nobody's sure what's going on, but at the same time, it's just a neat experience to be a part of that and being supportive. So thank you.
Well, and to see their faces when they walk in and see the decorations, and then just how the lighting was and the mood of everything was just so welcoming. And so it was very special.
It was.
It's created just for them.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
And they told us that all through the event. That just makes you want to cry a little bit inside, because you tried so hard to make it special, and you don't know if you achieved your end vision. You never feel like you achieved that end vision that you wanted, but for them it was amazing.
You crushed it. We crushed it.
We did.
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for volunteering with us.
Yes, thank you. Oh my goodness.
So I wanted to talk about the rainbow flag and what it represents. Because there's a lot of common misconceptions on the rainbow flag, who it belongs to, who it doesn't belong to. I believe that it belongs to everybody. The rainbow belongs to everybody. And back in 1978, the original creator of the flag believed the same thing. As far as the different colors are concerned, something that's normal on most rainbow flags that are displayed, because there's one color missing, and that would be the hot pink color.
Because the original Pride flag was put together by Gilbert Baker, and if you don't know anything about Gilbert Baker, you can go to gilbertbaker.com. They'll tell you the whole story of the Pride flag, how it came to be, and just all of the history behind it, because it's so rich. But the thing to realize is that the flag originally was 8 colors. In order for it to be mass produced, it became a symbol of LGBTQ movement. They had to whittle it down to something that was manageable, because they just didn't carry all those colors in flag materials.
Oh, okay.
But originally there was 8 colors. In 1979, it was reduced down to 6 colors, and those 6 colors are the ones that we have that remain. So you see the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and kind of a violet or purple. There are meanings behind the 8 color flag, as far as there's a misconception that they mean gender identity or sexual orientation.
Right.
They don't.
Okay.
And they actually kind of apply to everyone, in the sense of red is life, orange is healing, yellow is sunlight, green is nature, turquoise, that was on there but is not on the flag currently, is magic or art. There's an indigo, which is serenity, and violet is spirit. I think that applies to everyone.
Yes. I didn't realize
you can connect
that.
With that.
Yeah. And if we're fighting to not have that flag should be up all the time.
Absolutely. And then we talk about the LGBTQ movement of that time. 1969 was when the Stonewall riots happened in Greenwich Village. Moving forward, there was a lot of art and copy that came out of that time, and one of the biggest pieces obviously is going to be this rainbow flag by Gilbert Baker. As the LGBTQ movement progressed, and now we moved into diversity and gaining the rights that we deserve to have to exist in our daily lives, we forget about pieces pieces like this. And so bringing that to the forefront is crucial to the mission that we are to accomplish with Yakima
To the
Pride.
youth too.
Yeah.
I think that, as youth, they don't know the history and what the people before them have fought for to bring it to the point where we can have a rainbow prom at the Yakima Valley Museum without pushback, without hate, without discrimination, without homophobia, transphobia. So if you don't recognize those, you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I think that's kind of the state of the world things, right now, is that there are rights being taken away.
Yes.
Equality is still not here. It's a constant fight. And if you think about it, the flag does represent a lot to a lot of people, but it is that rich history in all of the fights that we're doing individually. I think there's a misconception of we talk about LGBTQ plus as though they all have the same struggles, and they don't. And they're very different struggles.
Yes.
And they may not always connect with each other, but ideally we would love to support all of them. And as allies, or as a gay cisgender man as that I am, I'm still going to support my trans, family. So I'll leave it at that. I think that's really kind of intense to talk about, but I highly recommend do your LGBTQ history. Learn about those things. Learn about Marsha P. Johnson, Harvey Milk, Stonewall, Gilbert Baker, and how they all kind of intertwined during those times.
Ignorance is not an excuse for not understanding what's going on. I love that about the flag. I've just learned something. I didn't realize that each color represented something different, and so it should. So if you want to know more, Yakima Pride, their Facebook page, all the details can be found over at kffm.com. Thank you both.
No,
Thank you so
coming in.
much.
Gosh, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.